Hi, everyone. It's Kate from Crocoblock, and welcome to our live Q&A, which is dedicated to working with the new update of JetEngine, with the new cool features that have been added to this wonderful plugin that, gives you wonderful opportunities. And I would say they're probably endless opportunities as well. So today, our broadcast will be hosted by our CDO, Andrey Shevchenko. Please welcome Andrew. And guys, as far as I can see, there are still not a lot of us, so let's just wait for a few more minutes to, wait for some other people who might be a bit late. As you know, we're trying to host our broadcasts on time, and so you won't have to wait too long. So as far as I can see, we have some comments already, which is great. And guys, just like usually, we're gonna have our live Q&A in the format of kind of two sections, two parts. So in the first part, Andrew will show you example of usage of this functionality on the website. So you could follow him and you could ask questions, the ones that you will have. And in the second part, you can ask the questions and we will answer them as well. So basically, this is pretty much it. Okay. There are some people who have been added, which is good. And don't forget about the water, tea, coffee, or whatever. I see that someone is bringing beer. Oh, we're not drinking alcohol, but guys, you're totally welcome to take whatever you like. Okay, so I guess we can actually start our broadcast. So I'm giving the floor to Andrew. Andrew, you can start.
Hi, Kate. Hi, all. Let's start with examples. Kate, could you please allow me to share my screen? One more second, please. Yeah, let's go. Just let me choose the right screen. Yeah, here it is. So, our today's stream is dedicated to the new features, like Kate already said. And the main features which was added with 2.6 release, it features related to the REST API. And at this time, we will not dig into theory a lot, like with custom content types, and proceed with practical examples. So let's imagine that we have a company that organizes some events. This company has its own website which describes the services that company provides, has portfolio of organized events, and any other general information about this company, contact list, something else. And for each new event or past event organized by this company, created a dedicated website, which is only, as I said, dedicated to this event, where you can find description of the particular event, schedule, list of participants, registration form, or something else. The simplest real-life example that will be close for all of us, it's WordCamp Central website, for example. Here it is. On this website, you, for example, can find all information about organizing WordCamps, contact to the central organizers team, check the news. Here it is, for example. And if you're interested in some dedicated WordCamps, you can find this list of these WordCamps here also. But for each WordCamp, created its own website where you can find, for example, as I said, schedule of this event, attendees, sponsors, news, or any information you need for you to know about this event. This approach is convenient because people who are interested in a particular event visit the website dedicated to its event only. And it's easier to find some information you need, the less options you might be misleading by. And in the end, you get a shorter user journey and more smooth user experience. So let's create some structure like this. Separate website for event itself and separate website for organization which lead this event. And one more what we want to do, that we want to have the common user base for all events on the main website. So that we can work with it as well. For example, make personalized email newsletters about new events for user who previously attended some similar events, or anything else what we want to do with such big users list. So here it is my central website, for example. It's admin part of this website. And admin part of event website. So what we need to do? On the central website, one second, please. Yes. On the central website, we need to custom content type to store or our participants or subscribers who will visit these events. And here, let me see. One more second. Yes, here it is. This website. It's the same website I used on the previous our broadcast, where we created sample content type item for similar issue for subscription for users for some conference, for example. So we already have content type on this website. As you can see, it already contain users from our previous broadcast, which was added at that time. And also it contains form to add new subscribers or participants. But what's the problem in this case? The problem it is we have, sorry, the problem that we have separate website for our event, but for it's not connected to our central website. Central website with content types, it's totally separate website where we store our users. And form that we have on our central website, it's also not connected anyway to our event website. So now we need to connect something in some way, form for adding participants from event website to the content type on the central website. It form will be the same as for form created before on the, as I said, central website from previous example. It will be the same form, but it form should be on the event website. So let's start. To resolve this issue, we added new features in the release 2.6. In this case, the first feature which will help us, it's REST API endpoints for custom content types. So let's go to the content type settings. Form submissions, it's our content type to store all our users who submit the form. And as you can see here, added some block with new options. In this case, we need to check option register create item REST API endpoint. This option will create, as I said, REST API endpoint, which is allow to insert new content type items, not directly from this website, but using the REST API. Here, the REST API endpoint URL. And if we send post request with item content type item data to this URL, it will insert a new content type item on this website. And this request we can send from any other website, from any other form, from any service which allow to send post requests, from code, PHP code directly, from your mobile application. For example, if you have separate mobile application for your website, you can use, for example, such endpoint to send some data to your parent website. As you see, after activation this option, it adds two more options. One of this, it's not exactly option, it's just URL. And second is access capability. It's an important option because it rules how this endpoint will be accessible from by the REST API. For example, if you left this options blank, your API REST point will be public, so anyone could be send the post request to this URL and insert new content type items to your website. As usual, you don't need such behavior because inserting new content type items should be regular in some way. It should be allowed for only for some trusted users. So to do this, you can use access capability options. In this option, you need to just set regular WordPress capability. Here is the link with description of the roles capabilities you can find in WordPress core, but you also can use any custom capability which created by some plugin, third party, or anything, or any capability which is registered in WordPress instance, in your current WordPress instance. For this example, we will use capability manage options. This capability is usually allowed only for users with administrator role, so it will be very trusted users who can submit items via this REST API endpoint. So we already resolved half of our issue. We created some REST API endpoint. By using this endpoint, we can insert new content type items into our central website. So the only thing we need to do, it's in some way from our event website, when we submit in form registration form, when user submit registration form, we need to send data to this REST API endpoint. And in this case, will be helpful one more feature which we will edit, which we already added into JetEngine from version 2.6. Also, you can see our new models management UI. It should be more informative for you because it's now not only allow you to enable and disable existing models, but also read some information about this model and watch video even if this video exists. So let's go. So in this case, we need to use, as I said, new feature, and its feature, it's REST API listings. This feature adds two main things for your website. One of them, we will discuss a bit later in a few minutes. And second, it's a REST API request notification for the forms model. Its notification allow us to send remote request to the another server when we submitting form on our website. So let's go to the form. I already created it on my event website. It also named new subscriber. And what we need to do, we need to add new notification, REST API request. Here is the settings of this notification. The main setting, it's a REST API URL. Here we need to paste the URL from the content type settings. And form, when we will submit form, it sends all data from the form to this URL with post request. It's exactly what they expect in this endpoint to insert new content type item. The only problem, second option, it's a custom body. By default, it sends all the data you have in the form. But if you need to structure your data in some other way, group your option with some object or etc., etc., you can use this option custom body you can insert your custom JSON format for your form for your request body, and it will be sent to this URL. But in our case, it's totally fine with default. We just send all the data which user fills in the form to the REST API URL. The only problem we left in this case that this REST API endpoint will allow to submit new content type items only for users with manage options capability. So we need to authorize our request for some way. For this case, you will help authorization option in notification settings. At this moment, allowed only one authorization type. It's application password. But with next releases, we will add support for other popular authorization types. For example, like beer or OAuth 2.0. So what we need to do, we need to paste user and password in this option separated by this sign. To paste this user and password, we need to create application password for our user. I'm not sure from what version exactly, but as I heard, it will be added to WordPress core itself. But at this moment, we need to use separate plugin to create application passwords for our users. I already installed it. It's named application passwords. And after installation after installation this plugin, you can go to the user settings. For example, here a user with username admin and role administrator, and go to application password settings and create new application password. For example, it will be test. Here our password generated. We need to copy it and paste it here. And before the password, we need to also add the username. In this way, you can to authorize any application you want, any REST API request created on your website. So let's apply changes. And and one thing also we need to do, it's define from what event this form is submitted to store it, because as you see for now, in the our form submissions, the field event is empty for all of these users because we added it in the previous broadcast when event was not needed. For now, yeah, I have added event option, event field for the content type, this content type item. And now we can set for each user the event for what he subscribed, something like that. So let's set this event. In our case, all users who submit the form on our event website will attend the same event. So we can just paste it manually. For example, it will be some test event. And now the only thing we need to do is add this form to the SAM page. One second while it open. So let's add this form. New subscriber. And let's submit this form a couple of times to check how it works. As you see, form successfully submitted. Let's check one more time to get more examples. And let's go to our central website to check if this users was added. So as you see, the new users added to all our users with event test event, and by after which we authorize it for this API request. And as I said, it's separate websites. As you see, our parent website has this URL, and our event website located on my local server and has this URL. So it sends the data remotely to the central server, and you can send such data from any website you want. So if you, for example, have 10 different events, you can send the data from each event separately, and it will be all collected in the same list, and you will get one list of all your users from all your events, grouped by events, where then you can query by them, by this event, or do anything you want with this list. So we finished with this part, and let's go to another example. Let's imagine that we need not only to allow users to submit the form, but for example, sorry, it's not. But for example, like on the WordPress conference website, as you can see, you can find the list of attendees who will visit this WordCamp. So let's create the same list for our website also. And here we have the same problem as before. We have different websites. We have central website where we have the list of our users, and we have event website where we need to display these users. So in this case, we also need to use REST API requests to exchange that data between two sites. But in this case, we need to use not the post API request, but get API request to retrieve a users list from our central website. For this case, we also go to the content type settings, form submissions, and now activate get items REST API endpoint. As you see, it's have pretty similar settings like for post API endpoint. The only difference, it has two URLs. First URL, it's URL to get all items list, and second URL, it's URL to get single item by this item ID. You can also close it by restrict access to this API endpoint by access capability. But for our example, we will left it public. You, in your real projects, can do this on any time, not only when creating it. So we can even paste this URL into the address bar of our browser and get some data. But this data will be very hard to use in this way. So we need to do something with this data. And in this case, REST API listings module helps us again. As I said, it has two parts. Second, we already checked it. It was part with REST API form notification, REST API request form notification. And the main part of this module, it's a REST API listing itself. And its module allows us to register on our website some REST API endpoints from third-party services and get data from these services and showcase it on our website using regular listing grid widget. So let's start. At first, we need to add new endpoint. The main part of our endpoint, it's endpoint URL. Name, it's only for your convenience, so you can use any name. For example, let's be form submissions. Items path, it's one more very important option. And in option allow us, not us, but the JetEngine to find the items list in the REST API response. For example, in our response from our central websites, the REST API response contain only items list, not any other data. But for example, the response from API may be something like this. For example, it's object where you can find the object which contained, for example, result of request, its success, true or not true, the object with some data, and only inside this data we can find items list, separate array. So for such case, you need to specify items path in this way. It's data because it's stored, because your items stored in the data property of parent object. Slash items, because items list is stored in the items property of data object. It's only, for example, as I said, in our case, it's stored, the REST API response contained only items list, so we need left it empty, or just, for example, set slash. Authorization is the same like for REST API request notification for the forms. Also, it only at this moment contained only application password authorization type, and also you need to set here user and password string. And the only thing we need to do to create the new REST API endpoint properly, it's check connection to this REST API endpoint. Check if our website could get data from this URL. And why it's important? Because it's checked the connection, and it's also grabs the one item from this API to use as preview for building listing item and for getting fields list for building this listing item. So we just need to press send request button. And as you can see, it's successfully connected. If some error appears on this step, the message will give you tips what exactly could be wrong with your API, and you will can to improve this, to fix this. Yes.
Hey guys, so right now we're gonna take a short break so you can pour some coffee, water, juice, whatever, and we will get back to you like in 1 or 2 minutes, okay? So prepare your questions because as far as I can see right now, the activity in the chat is not so good. So get ready with the questions and we will finish with testing this example. We will I will give you a short tip. We will create listings, and you know what that is. And the ones who don't know, you will have an opportunity to find out. And after that, we will answer the questions. Andrew will answer the questions connected to the update, connected to JetEngine and REST API. Okay, so we'll get back to you in a minute. Hey guys, so we are back. Just let me know if everything is okay. As far as I can see, there are some questions have been added. So I'm giving the floor back to Andrew so he could continue his presentation, which is really interesting. And just let us know if you have any questions like throughout the flow of this presentation as well. Okay, so I'm giving the floor to Andrew.
Hi guys again. Let's start from where we stopped. We just need a couple of minutes and we could proceed to your questions. So we stopped on creating REST API endpoint in the JetEngine settings. And now we just one thing we left to do. It's create listing item for this endpoint and then use it to show our participants. So let's go to the listings. Add new. At this point, we need to select REST API endpoint as source and select our REST API endpoint created before. Let's name it subscribers. And now we can edit it like we usually edit our listing item, for example, by using dynamic widgets from Jet Elements. Here we just need to use post term user object data and find in object fields list our REST API endpoint and select required field, full name, for example, here my test user, which was grabbed for our parent website. As you can see, it gets latest user from our subscribers list. Or also you can, for example, use Elementor dynamic text for the creating the content of your listing item. Let's check it how it will look. As you can see in the dynamic text list, added REST API field dynamic text. And here you can also just need to select the field you want to display. And this field will be displayed. And let's show something more, for example, position. Let's be. So our listing item already done, and we just need to output it on the page by using listing grid widget. We just need to paste this widget and select our listing source as listing. The one, as you can see, it works. The only problem we need to resolve in this moment, it's to show only participants from our event, because for now it shows all participants from our parent website. To do this, you can use REST API request parameters. Descriptions of these parameters you can find in the REST API endpoint section settings. Sorry, for some reason. No. Parameters, so we need to option, not option, we need parameters review link. And here we can see the list of all parameters which available for this REST API endpoint. And for our case, we need to use parameter event and query only users who has our test event in the event field. So let's go to the listing settings, REST API query section, and here you need to set REST API request parameters in the plain text way. Just separate parameter name and a parameter value with equal sign. Where is my form submission? So test event. Let's paste it here. And as you can see, we left only 2 users who submitted the form from our event website with event test event. So by the same way, just changing event name here, you can query any users you want for any event you want on any other event website. And also to make user experience more smoother, we can use lazy load option, because REST API request, it's a remote request from the server to another web server, and it's as usual take some time to make this request, to connect to the server, connected server to process this request, and then send data and this process this data. So lazy load option will be helpful in this case to avoid slow page loading. As you can see, it loads page itself very fast, and then loads listing items requested on the Ajax. So looks like we're done at this moment. The only thing I want to add, why for us and from our side and our point of view, this feature is so cool, because as you can see in this example, we have one website, my local web server, and second website located on another web server, and these two websites connected to each other by this REST API request. It sends the data from one side to another. It gets the data from one side to another. This exact example, it's pretty abstract, but also it's maybe not such situation. It may be, for example, your mobile application and your parent website. So with this REST API possibilities, you can use, for example, content types, JetEngine content types, as base to create a mobile application for your website. And that's why we think this feature will be so useful for you in the maybe nearly future, when mobile applications will be get more and more attention from users. So it's all I want to say. I can stop the sharing and we can proceed to your questions.
Okay, Andrew. So as far as I can see, a couple of questions were asked. So there was one of the first questions in regards to the REST API. Clinton Gallagher asked, can we do REST queries to target specific name value pairs in a collection of JSON object returned in the response? But basically you showed this on the practical example. Yes. And also he asked the question when we need to use the API key. So you also answered this as well, but maybe you can give some more examples. What kind of live website usage is possible with the REST API. What else we can do, except for the platform of creating for creating events, for example?
We're planning to add more examples. For example, I found only today one great website. Let me show it to you. 1 second. One more second, please, because a lot of bookmarks in my browser. Let's share screen one more time. Where it is? Can find it.
So many tabs in the browser and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I found it. And here it is. It's a rapidapi.com website. And here a lot of APIs presented, which allow you to get a lot data and show you on your website by using this API and REST API listing functionality. For example, some football tables. For example, also even some data from Airbnb. Why not? From some hotels, search some more hotels, or anything else. It's really a lot of examples, and it's REST API. It's not that case which you can get and let's do this. Let's do something interesting with this. As usual, it's cases which you know that you can't do this without REST API. It was not the best explanation, but I think the users who already faced such issues understand me in the case, because really you can face the situations when you can get data only from some other website, not collected in your, not fill the content type, for example, or custom post types, not create users terms or something else. You just need to grab the data from some third-party service. And you can do this without such functionality. And now you have this possibility in the JetEngine. And if take another feature, REST API for content type items, it's more feature for the future and for integration with mobile application, as I said, because from now you can create content type on your website, create REST API endpoints for your website, and use it as a base for your mobile application, for example, for creating some orders, some leads from your mobile application, for register users or anything else. Oh, what's
Okay, so there was another question. Just a second. Yes, so Liam Trupshow, sorry if I mispronounced your last name, asked, could something like this be used to update the speakers or live agenda items in real time with no page refresh?
No, at this moment it can be used because it still requires some action from user to get this data. For example, visit the page on your website or press some button to open pop-up, for example. And then listing could show you some data from third-party website in lifetime. Yes, it will be in lifetime, but before you need to perform some action, if I understand your question correctly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, York Melchers asked the question: can you connect to other services like Calendly or Digistore? That's only an example with JetEngine REST API. So, is it possible to connect other third-party services?
Uh, with REST API listings, you can connect to any services which return some list of data, list of users, for example, list of locations, list of hotels, list of posts, list of items, list of products. uh, any lists you want to show on your website, you can from third-party services, you can show by using REST API listings. The only problem could appear at this moment, it's missing authorization types. But as I said at the start, we're planning to add support of the main authorization types. And when we will do this, you will have no limitations. At this moment, when you face some new authorization type which not supported by JetEngine REST API listings, I recommend you just to contact our support, and they will connect you with developers team, and developers will add your exact authorization type into our authorization types list. Because at this moment we also don't sure what exactly whole list of this authorization type should be. Application passwords we added just because it's a basic authorization type allowed by WordPress, and which will be bundled to WordPress core itself in the future. And other we will add or by user request or by our some our decision.
Okay, so there was another question from Clinton. How to manage course cross-origin resource sharing when it is not configured on the server we get out JSON from? What do you think?
Could you please
Yeah, just a second.
or repeat the question or send me in the chat
Yeah,
to
sure.
so I
So,
read it.
how to manage course cross-origin resource sharing when it is not configured on the server we get out the JSON from?
JetEngine only send remote request and receive remote request data. If this remote requests are limited in the some way by server configuration, you can resolve it only on server side. JetEngine itself uses only standard WordPress logic. It for REST API listing requests. For the REST API listings, it's remote get data from WordPress core. For the REST API form notification, it's a remote post data from also WordPress core. And for content type REST API endpoints, it's WordPress core also API for creating custom endpoints. So if you will get any problems with server configuration, as I said, you need to resolve it on the server side.
Okay, Andrew. So there was actually two questions from Paul Johnston. So he was asking, are CCTs suitable for user data, like storing each user's task, for example, I'm not sure current REST API auth method is suitable for this, as need to store actual user, perhaps possible without REST API. So storing the tasks of the users in CCTs.
Yes, why not? You can connect, as I understand, each user can create a lot of tasks. So you can just create some form from which user will insert new content type items. It's also, if I understand you correctly.
Mm-hmm. So there is a question not really related to our today's topic, but Helmut Goebel asks, would it be possible to display the message after submitting the form on top of the form, not only below the submit button with a switch? So
At this moment, we're working on the totally new Forms UI, and maybe we will add this option into this UI. In current UI, at this moment, we're not planning to do this, but why not? Maybe we'll add.
Okay, so just a second. Let's see if there are other questions. Do you have an idea to make a complete page builder like Elementor?
No.
Oh, there is a question about CCTs. So, what is the best way to use CCTs on the website with 2 languages and WPML?
We discussed this issue on yesterday or day before. Let's say so. The custom content types main feature is the speed, because it's one table. You get data from one table. You can get it quickly. You can use it quickly. You can share it quickly by using REST API from now. You can quickly show it by using list and read widget. When you add in VPML to this, you lost this main feature of the custom content types. So if you lost this main feature, you do not need to content type from this moment. So in your case, if the translation is the main thing for you, the best way will be to use custom post types. If for your case the main feature is the speed, it will be better to use content type without 2 different languages. You can't get this both at the same time. It will be or slow down by using VPML, or it will be fast, but by using only one language. Unfortunately, at this moment, the situation like this. On the WordCamp Europe 2019, Matt Mullenweg said that they planned to implement some native WordPress multi-language solution. When it will be implemented, maybe situation will be different. But with WebML plugin, it like this. You can't get both speech and multi-language with custom content types at the same time. So if you can't get this, it will be better to use custom post types, which are already translated by WebML.
Okay, so Fly asked the question, does this work with the CPTs, not just CCTs?
Getting the data by the REST API will work with CPTs also. And REST API endpoints already exists in the WordPress core. For example, in the JetEngine, when you register a new post type, one second, I check this to name option correctly. When you register in a new post type, in the advanced settings, you have an option show in REST API. If this option is enabled, this post type will be shown in the WordPress default REST API. So it's all about this question. Let's
Yeah,
check.
so there was a question from York Melchers. Can you feed the data you fetch display in bar charts? And also, yeah, go ahead.
It's in our plans. Yes. It's a very important feature for content types, especially for content types, to display it as bar charts or diagrams or graphs. And one more feature, display this data in tables. So these two features in our plan for future updates, I am not sure at this moment it will be 2.7 update or maybe earlier with 2.6.5, 0.4 or something like this. But yes, features will be added.
Mm-hmm. And also he added to his question, can you only list the data fetched by REST API request, or do you plan to integrate this to other widgets like chars? For example, to display the gold price in the given date range.
Not sure I'm exactly understand the example, but as for first part of question, also if I understand it correctly, no, at this moment we not plan it. At this moment we added only compatibility with the listing grids, but if we will see user requests to use the fetched from the REST API data in any other widgets, why not? For example, when we will add content type support from start for diagrams and tables, maybe the next step will be adding the same support for REST API endpoints for the diagrams and tables.
Okay, guys, so are there no questions, really? Is everything understood? Is everything working properly for you, and the presentation was fine? Because as far as I can see, okay.
As I
So
understand,
there is another question.
it was a bit complicated topic.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that, we'll have a lot of questions because it is complicated topic. Yeah, so can we use meta boxes or forms to create WooCommerce extra products options and automatically calculate the product price? Not really
No,
connected to your
no. At
topic
this
today.
moment,
Yeah.
not really connected to topic, and also at this moment we don't have such functionality, and I'm not sure if we will be at something like this.
Okay. Awesome feature. Thanks, York. So, guys, What other questions do you have? Okay, maybe not connected exactly with the REST API. Um, your plugins are fantastic. Thanks and keep going. Sorry, keep doing more live. Yeah, sure, guys. Sure.
Yes,
We're
as I
thinking
said,
about it.
Benny said that it's very complicated topic. Yes, I totally agree. It's hard to understand topic while you not face it such problem. After you first time faced the problem when you need to get some data from the REST API or share your data from your website to some other website, then it will be more understandable for you. But if you never faced such issues, yes, I totally agree that this topic is a bit too hard to understand because too much data, different data transfers, different connections between websites.
Yeah. Okay, so there is a comment that people are asking for more use cases for APIs. Maybe you can think of something. Sorry.
I planned to dig deeper into the website I showed before, where it is, repeatapi.com, and find here some interesting APIs and create some examples based on these APIs. Maybe after this it will be more understandable for users who not faced these problems before.
Yes, and I think we will for sure create a video tutorial on how to use it, like everything that Andrew showed, but kind of in more detail and like step by step, probably with, like check marks, what to do. So it is easy to follow and easy to kind of get around. And we will probably add some use cases or maybe at least ideas of different use cases so you could actually understand it better. Um, yeah, so as far as I can see, we have like 5 minutes to go. So, guys, any other questions? Is it snowing in your country? Well, no, actually, in Ukraine, it's not snowing. Not snowing yet. It was like Andrew, when there was snow, yesterday or the day before
Uh,
yesterday, something like snow, but not.
Something like snow, yes,
Yeah,
really. It was not snow. It's
yeah. You can't actually call it snow because it was like snowing for I don't know 3 minutes. Okay, so Paul Johnston, sorry, asked another question. BodyBoss has a capability to create a mobile app coming. Using this combined with Croco REST API is great use case to add custom function in the app.
yes, if they will create some really useful and powerful mobile app builder, it will be a very strong combination.
Yeah, which is great. Okay, so when will next Q&A take place, Andrew? In a month? Or when we're gonna have a new release of JetEngine?
Not sure.
Sorry, new update. Yeah. Okay, so Clinton. So a lot of text. Content authorization must be in the header sent by response from server or request for JSON bombs out. Okay, Andrew, just a second. My chat just jumped. Sorry.
Let's see what more in the comments.
Yeah, so Clinton is just commenting in regards to the feature. Just give me a second, I'll forward it to you so you could see it properly, and I will read it in a minute. Okay, so content authorization must be in the header sent by response from server or a request for JSON bumps out. The mode property allows us to avoid throwing the new error and the request fails silently. If you will be getting a lot of errors about this as users start to query endpoints, REST is very complex for designers.
I can answer on the last part. Yes, REST, it's really complex for some users, but it's only one solution for a user who really need it. If you know, as I said before, one more time, it's not the feature which you can take and play with it in some way just to check how it will work. Mostly it's a feature for users who already face such problems and understand all pains which you getting when facing this. As developer, for example, I also really often to work with REST API from both parts, from getting some data from REST API, for example, also for creating the data with REST APIs. And it's even for me, it's a big pain with some action which I do one more time again and again and again. And such JetEngine features we added in this release, both from both parts, and for content type REST API endpoints, for REST API listings. It's a feature which mostly should to automate these tasks. You need to create the same REST API endpoint each time. You need to send remote GET request each time and then parse the data. From now, JetEngine do it for you. And if you have an issue where it needed, you can use this feature. If you don't have such issue, you don't need this feature.
Okay, so guys, just give us one more minute and we will get back to you. And we will answer the questions because as far as I can see, there are some coming in the chat. So, okay, just give us a minute and we'll be back. Hey guys, we're back. Okay, and we're gonna start with the question from Juan Molina. Is it possible to link CCTs with other posts within WordPress?
At this moment, yes, you can do this in two ways. First, it's default option to connect CCT item with single post, which will be single page for this CCT item. And second, it's just use posts field in the CCT fields, and it will allow you to set, for example, some related posts for current CCT item. But for the future, we're planning to add, I think, powerful relationship feature for content types itself. It also will include, I think, content type and post type relationships. It also will be, I think, released in 2.7 or maybe even earlier, because it's very needed feature even for us and our models, the dynamic models which we created.
Okay, and also Juan asked us to improve the functionalities and appearance of the license management section. We're working on it.
Yes, we've constantly working on our dashboard part, on license management, also page like part of the dashboard. And I think some improvements in this part will be very soon. Maybe not this year, but maybe in the start of next year.
And also, Will G. I used to use Body Boss, but I have now built most of the functionality manually with Jet plugins. Now you have Profile Builder, but when do you think Crocoblock will have more membership functionality? Our
Uh,
popular question.
yes, membership, it's a very popular question. One more feature was added on this with this release. It's separating profile builder pages by user roles. We don't show it in this JetTalks session because it's also very complicated to explain and very complicated to show it on some easy example. But with this feature and with dynamic visibility feature and with profile builder itself, you already can create the most of membership functionality you need. For example, with profile builder and restriction pages by user roles, you can create different profile pages, different accounts, different public profiles for users with different roles. With dynamic visibility, you can separate visible content on the same page by user role. So you already have a lot of membership features bundled with JetEngine. It's just not named membership itself. It's some membership parts separated by different JetEngine tools.
Is it possible to create a custom front-end user experience as a multi-vendor site like Dokkan does?
You can try it with Profile Builder, as I understand it answered in the chat below by our support guys.
And also, Will J asked another question. Do you have any plans for a notification pop-up plugin similar to Facebook notifications when a new post comment is added?
At this moment, we don't think about, but also if we will receive user requests for such functionality, I think we will add it. As I said, each time now on JetTalks, we very user-driven company when adding new features, so it all depends on user requests.
And also, there was another question in regards to notifications. Global Hive asked, is it possible to create a notification on CPT or CCT? Like, let's say there is an update, there is plugin update. You see the circle with a number in it. So, in example, someone submits a form and it's marked as review pending. Then show the circle with the number of review pending submits. So how many reviews are pending. But it's been automatically added, I think, to the CCT, right?
Sorry, 1 second. I'm trying to find this question because it's really long.
Yeah, so just hold on, I'll forward it to you.
Oh, yes.
So basically, when on, like, let's say another website, someone submits the form and it's being automatically added to another website of yours that is connected. And will it be possible to add notifications that so many forms have been submitted, for example, if I got it right?
As for
this visual part to understand, for example, 20 users submitted the form, or 100 or 1,000 or whatever.
Yes, I understand. If we speaking about custom post types at this moment, yes, you can do this by setting some or custom post status on submitting form, on setting some meta field also on submitting form. And then with dynamic functions, you can calculate how many posts with this status or this meta field already submitted. If you want to use this functionality with custom content type, at this moment you can only submit a form with some specific status, but dynamic functions are still not supported by the content types. When we will add support for dynamic functions and custom content types, you will do this without any problems.
Juan is asking us to integrate some payment gateway widget like PayPal, Stripe, or and some for Latin America.
PayPal already integrated into our forms. You can contact our support and they will send you instruction how you can enable this feature.
Anthony T is asking for Jet Portfolio, can you add a share function to each image that loads in a Lightbox? For example, if someone wanted to share a specific image that they want to share on Facebook, for example.
It will be better to create issue with the suggestion on our suggestion repo on GitHub. And we will add this to our roadmap.
Okay. So as far as I can see, I guess we
Clinton
answered
Gallagher
all.
said that today his birthday.
Oh,
happy birthday, Clinton.
Congrats. Happy birthday. Okay. I'm not sure if we answered this question. Just hold on. Is it possible to make a verification for the API so that a key is required, or the API is only accessible from specific domains?
Could you send? Yes, please, me.
I just forwarded
this question
it to
in the
you.
chat because I can find it in
Is
the
it
chat.
possible to make a verification for the API so that the key is
Ah, yes,
required,
yes.
or the API
Understand.
only accessible from specific domains?
If you speaking about content types API endpoints, yes, you can make it accessible only by user with specific roles or specific capabilities by using access capability feature. And then you can install application passwords plugin until it will not be merged into WordPress core, and create application and create password for your trusted users and give these passwords to these users, and this endpoint will be accessible only by this user password combination.
Benny is asking a question. Just hold on for a minute. Map listings and filters. Will it be possible to have map zoom upon filtering?
Yes, we take a look into this because we already faced some similar issues, and we already trying to do something in this way, but as I know, it's still not finished. But I hope we add this feature in maybe near future.
And also, just a second. So Paul Bean is asking regarding Jet appointments. Will we be able to add availability from the front end in the future?
Yes, it's commonly requested feature, but I hard to say about estimates when it will be released because also a lot of other features which also we need to implement it into Jet appointments, but this is also definitely in the roadmap.
Guido, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, so sorry if I misspelled it. So, Guido, probably, yeah, is asking the question if we plan to get the calculated field from form also outside as dynamic field.
It also will be better to add this question as issue on GitHub with more detailed explanation of your case, and why not? We will try to implement this. By the way, about GitHub, this at this week we reached 1,000 closed issues on our GitHub suggestion repo. So it means the 1,000 your feature request was implemented and was added to our plugins, and that's why this issue was closed. So it works. Just add your request, and we will check in and we will discuss it inside our team, and we will try to implement it.
Okay, Will G is asking another question. Do calculated field work with dates and time? For example, an event is 2 days or a time slot is 25 minutes. I've tried to use a calculated field for time or date, but can't seem to find a solution. Well, it surely works with check in, check out.
I'm not sure.
Oh no, not calculated. It's in calculated, where you create the formula just like we do with our booking websites, the dynamic templates. It's just you have to think about
Also, I'm not sure that I correctly understand this case, so hard to say.
So probably we need to. You mean, Will, that we need to kind of multiply the price for the event for 2 days or for 25 minutes? right? Just let us know in the chat what you mean or like specify it. Okay. Felix Kugler is asking, map listing and zip code filter would nail it. Much love from Germany. Thanks. So add in zip codes to our maps listings.
Automatically, I'm not sure, but if you manually will set zip code for your posts, use it in the map listing, and then add filter to search by zip code, it will work. I just not sure what exactly format you need for searching by zip code. Maybe it will not fit you, but in theory it will work with meta field for zip code and search filter from smart filters.
Okay, Jamie Sheehan is asking, are Jet appointments affected by catching where providers do not appear? And if not, are you guys aware of any issues with open Lightspeed?
It should not affected by caching because providers list refreshed when you select, for example, service. Providers list for the service will be refreshed with Ajax. So it each time will be grabbed actual data from your server, from your backend.
Okay. Yes, and Will specified what he means. Yes, if I have an event that starts on the December 1st, this event lasts for 2 days. I want to do a calculated so that the next available event is on December 3rd. Or if a time slot starts at 8 and the duration is 3 minutes, the next available time slot is at 8.3. Calculated field works with numbers, but currently not allowing with time or dates.
We will think about, but at this moment, it's hard to say how we can
Yeah, we'll
implement
need
this.
to think about this. So it would be great, Will, if you can post your request on the GitHub so guys could think about it. And we'll see. Maybe we'll come up with a solution that will suit you. Okay, guys, so I think that we will have to end our conversation for today. We were so happy that you joined us and that you were quite active in the chat. In the first part, you were kind of shy, but it's good. It's good that you're commenting. It's good that you're asking questions, and your feedback motivates us to, work on the project even harder and implement different features, different new cool functionalities faster. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just reading the comments. They should put a widget with the option to create an account with the option of social networks such as Facebook, Gmail, etc.
Yes, it's also a needed feature.
Yeah.
But it also don't have estimates at this moment.
Yeah, there are so many things to do, and we know about some of them, but there are a lot of features that we can't even think of. So your ideas, your suggestions are totally welcome on our GitHub page. So, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying this 1.5 hours with us today. Thank you for being active, and thank you for actually giving us your feedback because, it, just like I said, it motivates us a lot. So if you still have any questions, maybe we missed something. Sorry for that. Sometimes it's kind of hard to follow the chat. So if you still have any questions, don't hesitate to contact our support team because they are always there to help you, to assist you, to support you, to cheer you up, and to find solutions for your issues. And yeah, thank you so much. And I hope that you will have a wonderful evening or day or morning, depending on your time zone. And yeah, we'll catch you up sometime later in the next live Q&A broadcast. Thank you so much, Andrew, for
Yeah.
sharing this wonderful information with us today. And have a wonderful day too. Goodbye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, guys. Goodbye, all.